Alright guys, day 15, let's go. Welcome back to the podcast, back to Tomboy Official. We are on pages 46, 47, 48. So Lily Singh starts talking about meditation as like on page 46, she says, meditation is simply about making time for a relationship with yourself. And she gives a lot of cool examples on page 47 and on page 48. She talks about dancing, walking, or the traditional kind of like breath work, sitting with your legs crossed, On page 47, she says, I check in with myself, ask myself questions, and work through my thoughts. She does some forms of dancing to Bob Marley music. And then some cool questions on page 47 to 48. How are you feeling mentally, spiritually, and physically? Is something on your mind? How do you feel about situation X? Are you scared? If so, why? Did you notice yourself feeling something strange last night? Did person Y make you feel excited or insecure? How can you be a good partner to yourself? What kind of day would you like to create? So basically, she talks about meditation as a relationship with our own selves. And I think a lot of times, the thing that I've heard the most from people is that they don't like meditation because it's hard to sit in silence with yourself. Meditation, a mindfulness task doesn't have to necessarily be like sitting still, legs crossed in the dark, on the floor. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be helpful, but that can be intense too, depending on the person, the situation. I'm really into meditation. It can be uncomfortable sometimes, I agree. But usually it's because of that kind of conscious connection with what's actually going on. Because I think a lot of us notice, it's not uncommon, at least in Western culture, to be so disconnected from the day. It's like I can be working but have my earbuds in and listening to music, or have music on in the background, or have a podcast on in the background, or have some kind of background thing going on. And have some kind of situation where the background is, you know, just drowning out just enough of you know, a direct conscious experience, a direct mindful experience to whatever is going on. Like the best example of this is sleep time. When a person is laying down, it's quiet, they don't have anything on, no phone, no radio, no TV, nothing. And you're laying down and your eyes are closed and everything's quiet, and it's like, okay, what's going on, if there's sounds around, you're gonna notice. If there's traffic, if you hear the neighbors closing their gate or door, if you hear a dog barking, if you hear, if you live with people and you hear someone walking around, or somebody on the phone, or whatever it may be. That's the easiest example of, times when things are relatively, you're just supposed to sit there and lay there and fall asleep. You're not really expected to be playing video games or doing any other multitasking. And a lot of times that can be hard if the mind is racing. A lot of times, myself included, it's common to turn on something like a meditation or a meditation app, some kind of content like that, I like to listen to Michael Seeley, things like that. That's not uncommon. Um, so, just keeping that in mind, that it's not uncommon to not necessarily have comfort in complete silence. That's another thing, you know. And so, moving from that idea into the idea that, you know, what's going on in the mind is part of a relationship with ourselves, right? Like, I've noticed that, you know, when I'm at my best, it's easy to just sit alone by myself in quiet, you know, because there's nothing in my mind that's like bothering me. And when things are kind of going a little bit all over, or when it's been busy or whatever, and I haven't had time to sit and process things routinely, that's when all these other things start creeping up when I do give myself some silent time. But it's important, you know, to connect with yourself, have an awareness with your own self, check in with yourself, not completely ignore yourself all the time. It can help to have an idea of like, okay, if you think about yourself as another person, even though it's kind of weird, right? But if you think about the idea of yourself as an individual entity, like sitting next to you, you know, and if they started talking and it was like negative, right? Negative talking, you know, you probably wouldn't just sit there and let somebody just, not even negative talk about you, but just negative talk about today's gonna suck. Today's gonna suck. Like, I can't believe you didn't sleep on time last night, and like today's gonna suck, and you know, like you're already tired, you know, you're stressed out, you know, things aren't gonna go well, and just like that negative kind of like nothing's gonna go right, nothing's going well. That style of thinking. Um, if somebody was just literally sitting next to you saying that, you'd probably have a dialogue with them, right? And be like, look, the way you're thinking, the way you're talking is just, you know, let's, you know, table it for now. You know, let's problem solve through this. Take a few minutes to actually talk ourselves through, you know, all this, you know, let's game plan. We're already here. It's already the new day. Like, let's just plan on how we're gonna deal with the fatigue, the stress, the tiredness. What can I actually do within my power to kind of like address that versus letting it just sitting there and just letting it next to you, the entity just like going and going and going about all this negative stuff, right? So that's two different ways. Like, we can just be like very passive about it, let it keep happening with ourselves, just kind of like stressing ourselves out and like all the anxiety, or just kind of take more charge of it and be more actively involved, even when you're not like talking out loud, but just like mentally just kind of thinking it through. That can be a lot more helpful than just sitting with it. And so just learning to kind of be with yourself and talk yourself through things, talk yourself down when things are maybe not that easy, or when they're confusing, or when it's like not perfect. That's probably the easiest method I've found. Um, um, but it's not like a pure ease. Like, the hard part is for myself to remind myself to do it, or to catch myself when I'm doing it and be like, oh, like there's a way to kind of like resolve this negativity in my mind. Um, that's the hardest part, is kind of like getting to the place where I remember like, oh yeah, like let me just talk myself down and I'll feel better. Because ever since I kind of learned about that more, it helped me more with meditation, because meditation was hard, because that was usually how it was starting out, was my mind just like full sprint to the negative finish line, like let's all just rush, you know, storm the finish line of negativity, and let's all just go that way. Every single thought path is, let's find the most negative one and all just go. Um, it's kind of what it felt like, which is weird. Like, it's hard to explain, but that was the easiest way for me to just like mentally wrap my head around kind of like a relationship with myself, right? If I take myself, my idea of myself kind of out of myself and look at it as like a separate part or another being, it's easier to be like, okay, there is a way to problem solve this. It's basically me problem solving with me versus me, letting the other part of myself just like override all the other stuff, and actually using the skills, right? So yeah, that's one way to look at like a relationship with ourselves. Another way is if you think about a relationship with ourselves, with our own individual self, if that entity is next to you and was being negative, drowning it out would help, right? Putting on a podcast just to kind of drown it out a little bit, or music just to drown it out a little bit would help. But nothing gets resolved if you or I, if we spend all day just disconnected from ourselves, right? If that entity is kind of warning you or trying to like acknowledge that, hey, there's stuff going on that needs to be resolved, and it's like, I'll just pop in my earbuds, I'll just put in my headphones, I'll just go on a drive and like blast some music and drive around town, and I'll just take a nap, I'll just, put on some music, I'll just watch TV, I'll just watch Netflix, I'll talk to my friends on the phone, I'll just play video games, and then next thing I'll just go to work, I'll just go to class, I'll just study. And next thing I know, it's 9:30, 10 p.m., time to unwind, time to go to bed, and the whole day was spent just trying to drown out all that other stuff without ever having any moment of connecting to it. It never gets resolved that way, or it might just naturally resolve itself, but I think it is helpful to learn how to work with it, because once we can work with it, we have a lot more strength kind of to be able to address that negative stuff that comes up. And I guess the last part, so if I were to answer these questions for myself, the questions from page 47 going into 48, sometimes it helps to have a prompt. So I like prompts for writing. I can either write them like journal wise or audio record, like this, like, but like on a journal where I'm not going to maybe post it on the internet, or, just think it through just mentally, not even out loud, or just talking out loud if I'm by myself. These questions like, how are you feeling mentally? So for myself today, mentally, I'm pretty alert, pretty rested, compared to Sunday and Saturday. Those were travel days. Today is not a travel day. I had a little coffee boost with some cacao, a little bit of CBD. Mentally, I'm feeling pretty sharp. I didn't really know what I was going to talk about. I kind of wing it with these episodes. I just kind of read it, and whatever pops in my head, I kind of go that way. So yeah, mentally, I'm feeling decently well. Spiritually, I'm not too, like, in a religious way, I'm not like too, I don't have like an interest sparked with anything particular right now. There was some stuff I was studying before I left to Vegas, and I put it down for a bit, and now I'm like, okay. But spiritually, I mean, I feel fine. I feel like that connection with myself is definitely on point today, more so than many days. My mood's good. Physically, I need to hydrate more. I can feel it. I've got like a slight, mild little headache creeping. I didn't eat that much. Ate a couple boiled eggs and a small scone. I've got another scone for when I take a break at like 10:30. Is something on your mind? A little bit. I ordered some Instacart groceries, so I'm paying attention to that getting delivered. I'm still trying to download Forza 5 Horizon. So I'm kind of like, that's pending. So as it's slowly downloading, I'm, getting, I'm checking in on that. And my to-do list today is pretty much for what I'm doing for the websites and stuff. How do you truly feel about Situation X? Let me call Situation X career-related things. I'm all over the place. Basically, I'm not ready to fully be working right now, but I'm optimistic about it. Are you scared? I was. Now I'm just waiting to be ready and putting in the work so that I can make sure I'm the healthiest version of myself when I do start work again. Before, the fear was coming from feeling like I was gonna run out of money and be forced to get back into an overly stressful workspace before I'm ready, before I feel like everything is kind of more healed up. Did you notice yourself feeling something strange last night? Nah, not really. I had some melatonin, CBD. I was feeling drowsy, fell asleep on time, woke up early around 3:15 and thought it was like 5 a.m. Did person Y make you feel excited or insecure? I haven't really been interacting with anybody for the past couple days, really, so no. Like most of the people I've been interacting with, it's been by phone or texting or Instagram, and that is perfectly fine because I am enjoying myself. I do have social plans though, but no. How can you be a good partner to yourself? Just the regular check-ins and the awareness, space to kind of become aware, pretty much. Let's see. What kind of day would you like to create? My intentions for today are to be pretty productive. I've had a lot of non-productive days because I was out of town and stuff. And I definitely feel a lot more refreshed after the fact. But yeah, like, I'm having a good morning. And so basically I woke up with my little today's schedule update. I would say today I probably went to sleep by 10 p.m., maybe 9:45 or so. Woke up, early, too early, around like 3:15 a.m. Stayed up till probably about 4:15 a.m. When I first woke up, I thought it was like 5. I had plenty of energy because I'd slept about 6 hours already. And then when I woke up, I was like, go back to sleep. And so I woke up again and I was like, it's got to be like 7:30. And it was like 6:30 a.m. when I woke up. Looked at my clock around 6:45 a.m. And then I was like, it's still early. Because I try not to eat breakfast till 8. But I was like, okay, let me get up. So I think I got up around 7. Had some coffee, bathroom shower. And then I started trying to set up this Wi-Fi. I got this TP-Link. It's alright, but it's not strong enough to handle Reason Studios 12. And it's also, the download speed is a little slow for downloading this game, but it's already faster than it was the other day. We're already 8% more through the installation process over the last maybe hour or so, which isn't that bad compared to the other day that it took almost a whole day and maybe more to download up to 29%. Right now it's already at 37%, so it downloads a little faster. And yeah, I'm just updating the tech stuff. This isn't fast enough. I'm gonna return it, and then I'm gonna order. I already ordered. It should come tomorrow. I'm getting the Nighthawk M1. I found a used one for a lot cheaper, for half price. So about a little under $200 is what I got it for, but I paid a little more for shipping to have it delivered faster. I wanted to test out the TP-Link because it was available sooner, and I was like, well, it might be good enough, but I want to be able to run everything. So this one, I have it connected actually to the house. I don't know how to explain how I set it up, but I set it up through the house. The house, I connected it to using the Ethernet cable it came with. I connected it to the wireless router and got it online, and now it's connected to the internet. So I'm on the hotspot, but I think I'm on the hotspot through the household network. I don't think I want that. I think I'm just gonna wait, and I'm gonna use I'm gonna use this for today, then return it once my other one's set up, and once I get it and I set it up. But I'm gonna pay basically for the Google Fi. It's like $65 a month, unlimited plus. I'm gonna pay for that, and then I'm gonna set up that Nighthawk M1 tomorrow. Once I get that set up, I'm gonna test it out, see if it's good, better or worse. I'm hoping it's better. I need something that runs my music software. If I can't run that, it's not fast enough. So, but this one, it does, so far it's doing everything but that. So that's just the only thing. So I'm gonna test that out tomorrow. But for now, I'm getting as much done as I can off the TP-Link. I didn't have to buy a plan for it. I thought I was gonna have to get my own wireless plan, or internet service plan, and connect it, but that's not really what I'm doing. I'm just using this TP-Link as a hotspot. Basically, it works. So I think I mentioned yesterday, I'm kind of passively doing stuff. So this was the first thing, was needing the internet. Last night I didn't do the meeting I was gonna do for the Discord for the class, so I'm gonna do that today, this morning, in a little while. I will not be snowboarding soon, probably, because the resort is closed again today. I'll see later in the week if it's open. Maybe Wednesday night to Thursday, depending on the weather. But I want to make sure everything's clear. But I might be able to get in one day on Thursday before I head down to San Diego on Friday. Like, I might be able to do Thursday and then Friday morning. But we'll see. I don't want to push like way too hard. But that might be what I do, is go Thursday and Friday. I'm not sure yet. Okay. So sorry, there's somebody walking over here by my bedroom. But yes, that's about all I have to say for now. I'm gonna get busy with what I'm trying to do. Thanks for listening.